All right, let's dive in. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the invisible superhighways that zip our money all over the globe. It's a journey that feels like it happens in an instant, but it's actually built on this fascinating, complex web of tech that most of us never even think about. I mean, think about it. Have you ever sent money to family back home or maybe bought something from a seller who's halfway around the world? It feels like magic, right? You press a button and boom, it's there. But it's not magic, not at all. It's all infrastructure. So let's set up a really simple scene. You need to send $100. You grab your phone, open an app, tap send, and that single tap kicks off this crazy high-speed race across a global financial network. So let's follow the money step by step. Okay, first stop on our journey, the local trip. See, before your money can even think about going global, it first has to navigate its own country's financial system. Every single country has one. Think of it like the local streets and on-ramps you have to take just to get to the international airport. And this network has a name. It's called a domestic fast payment system. It's basically the digital backbone that connects all the banks inside of one country. And this is a huge deal. Over 75 countries have already built these things, creating these incredibly fast, efficient local highways for money. So here's how that first leg of the journey breaks down. When you hit send, it's not actually a little packet of cash that starts moving. Nope, it's an instruction. That digital message gets fired off from your bank, travels through that domestic network, and then it arrives at a very specific type of institution, one that acts as the official on-ramp to the international highway. Okay, so the instruction has made it. It's at the very edge of its own country. But now what? How does it actually make the leap across the border and into a totally different nation's system? This is the million-dollar question, right? How in the world do you link the financial highway of, say, the United States with the one in India? Well, it turns out there are two main ways to build that connection. So here are the two big ideas. On one side, you've got what you could call a shared global highway. Basically, one giant international system that a bunch of different countries all agree to join and use together. And on the other side, you have a direct bridge, a special, custom-built link that connects just two specific countries' systems. Let's take a closer look at these two options because each one has its own way of doing things, its own rules, and we've got some really interesting real-world examples of both. So, the first model is officially called a cross-border payment system. The key thing to remember here is that it's a single rulebook on a single shared platform. Everybody who joins agrees to play by the same rules and use the exact same infrastructure. That airport analogy? It's perfect. It's like one massive central hub that everyone uses to get where they're going. And you can see the difference so clearly right here. A shared system like the Bunis system in the Arab region has one set of rules for everybody, all on a central platform. But then you look at a direct link, like the one connecting Thailand and Singapore, that's a completely custom agreement that just connects their two existing domestic systems. So one approach is about building something totally new for everyone, while the other is about connecting what's already there. And here's the official name for that second model, a cross-border linkage. So instead of that big central hub airport, just picture a custom-built high-speed bridge connecting two completely separate highway systems. It's governed by its own special set of rules just for that bridge. So we've got these incredible pieces of technology, right? These digital bridges and superhighways. But what's actually holding it all together? It's not just the software. It's the agreements, the rules, happening underneath it all. Yeah, for any of these systems to actually work, it's about way more than just the tech. You've got to have this foundation of trust and agreement. I mean, everybody involved has to agree on the legal stuff. Their computer systems have to speak the same technical language, using standards like ISO 20002. And of course, you need secure connections and a crystal clear process for how the money actually gets settled up at the end of the day. This quote just nails the heart of the challenge. Trying to connect these systems is unbelievably complex because you're not just plugging in computers. You're trying to link different currencies, totally different legal systems, and clashing regulations. It is a massive, massive coordination effort. And that brings us to one last really critical thought. We've seen that money doesn't really flow through a physical country anymore. It flows through these incredible man-made digital systems that have their own rules. So the question that leaves us with is, if the system makes the rules, who writes them? Who is really in control of these invisible superhighways? We're going to explore that next time.